Good morning, my friends. How you guys doing? It is a Monday morning in Australia, and I have been wanting to jump in all weekend to deliver on the promise of teaching you about emotions and essential oils. But this weekend has just gotten the better of me, and of course I've been sharing so much love and goodness with my local community that I thought it would be best for me to jump on fresh-faced on a Monday morning. So here I am. I wanted to give you a little bit of insight into how we can use essential oils to support our emotions. And there is a video on YouTube which I did. It's a part 1 of a series. I am a qualified certified emotions mentor, and I studied with a woman whose name is Rebecca Hinsey, and she taught me, the program that I studied with taught me how to use essential oils for emotional support. And it taught me a lot about, mainly for me personally, it taught me a lot about the science behind it. It taught me about how there are chemical reactions when we take a deep breath in of anything. So you take a breath in of an essential oil and how it passes through the nasal passage to the olfactory bulb and actually has a connection, obviously, with the brain, and how there is a stimulation of certain neurotransmitters when you breathe in certain aromas. And this made it really clear for me as to how our endocrine system, our hormones, are becoming really unbalanced in our day and our age, because we see so many fragrances and fake spritzes everywhere we go. You know, you walk into a public bathroom and they're spritzing this Glade stuff out into the public space, and you're breathing it in, and these harmful toxins and chemicals disrupt our bodies because they are chemicals. They're a bleach made to smell natural. And by knowing all of this information, it's made it very, very clear to me how we as a community, as an essential oil user community, are changing the world, because we are saying no to those chemicals and the disruptions that we experience internally from everything we breathe in externally. This goes with, using chemicals to clean your home. You spritz Windex to clean your bathroom mirror and you're breathing that Windex in. And so there is a whole other element of it that we talk about a lot in this community on how to clean with essential oils, and there's a whole module, a 5-part video series that is in this group to teach you how to make your own cleaning detergents using essential oils and some basic products. And I highly recommend that you look at that too, because it's not just about using the essential oils to make you feel good, although it is. It's about eradicating and eliminating all of the other shit that you have in your house that is contributing towards an unhealthy body, mind, spirit, and soul. Capiche? And so with that, I want to get into this essential oil for emotions. So a little bit about my background. When I was younger, I suffered a lot from anxiety. And my mum, being somewhat of a hippie mother, took me to see an aromatherapist. And I remember as a young child, every week going to this woman's home, like she had her practice at her home. And every week I would walk in and she would say, "Now, Ariana, how are you feeling today?" And I quite often didn't even need to tell her. She was very intuitive, and she would just take a look at me and she kind of knew how I was going. But what that did, the question, "How do you feel today?" started very young in my life. I was single digits, and having someone ask me, "How do I feel?" started this, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. It started this internal inquiry, like, how do I feel? I've always been very in touch with my emotions, although I, as a young child coming from a troubled home, wasn't confident enough to express my emotions. I didn't feel like there was space for me to be sad or angry or upset. I felt like I needed to keep everything together so that the people around me were happy. And so what that did is, as I grew older, I always had this internal inquiry of how do I feel, how do I feel, how do I feel? But I never knew how to express my emotions. So there's two parts of emotional intelligence. The first part is going within to understand one's emotions, to really understand how you're feeling. And there's an expression that comes with that emotion, right? There's an expression that you are allowed to, as a human being, express. And then from that expression, there's another part, and there's a choice that you get to make on how you want to feel. And so, you know, it's kind of like a 2 or even a 3-pronged approach, you may call it. The how do I feel, the expression of that emotion, but then it's the coming out of that emotion, moving into a state of how I want to feel. Right? And that's where the essential oils can be so powerful, because we get to choose how we want to feel and then relate an essential oil to that new desired state of being, and then become that, step into that. So when I first did my holistic diploma in complementary therapies, this was 2013 maybe. So it was a while ago, and I studied with a mentor. Hi, Mona. Hi, darling. I studied with a mentor one-on-one, and the reason I'm telling you this is because I had a question the other day in the group asking me how I know so much. And there was almost like an expectation that because, you know, I've been with doTERRA for 2 years, it's coming up to 3 years actually, and I feel like sometimes people look at that time frame and think that they should know everything that I know in that short amount of time. And the reason I'm telling you my timeline, a very brief understanding of my timeline, is because I want you to understand that this has been years of passionate seeking and years of obsessing over this stuff that has gotten me to be knowledgeable on the subject, because I've lived it for many, many, many years, and I've experienced it, and I've got bookshelves full of it, you know. And what I'll share with you today are the basics. And if you've got any desire to learn any more, then please contact me. I do offer, you know, mentorships and those sorts of things that really help you go deeper into your emotions and your emotional intelligence. But for the process that we're about to go through today, you are so equipped and so able to do all of this stuff on your own. Yeah. So I studied with a mentor, and we did all things holistic and complementary therapies. That included chakra balancing, Reiki healing, sound healing, Bach flower remedies, color therapy, you name it, I've done it, right? Anything to do with energy, with the energetic body, which then of course is the emotional body, and then it relays into the spiritual, and of course the physical. So all 4 of those bodies have been part of my obsession for years now. And this is where my obsession with essential oils came from, was when I did that course with her. I did this mentorship with her, and it started to bring up all of these emotions that were deeply trapped in my body about having been a child and experiencing aromatherapy for myself, and the impact that it made on my life. The transformation that I experienced at a wee old age of like 7 or 8. And I realized how important it is for me to get this message out into the world. So I started to then incorporate essential oils into my yoga practice. I was a yoga teacher at the time. I would, although it wasn't the doTERRA brand, I would use essential oils in my Reiki practice. I was practicing Reiki. I was, giving Reiki to my clients. And we would use essential oils, and I would give them an aromatic anchor, which I didn't know what it was called at the time. But I would give them an aromatic anchor to take home with them to help balance their energies, to help bring them back into equilibrium and homeostasis, and to remind them, because of the sense of peace that they felt on the table with me or in the class with me or whatever it was. Because our sense of smell can bring us into alignment very, very quickly, right? You can start to create an aromatic anchor with any oil that will take you into a state of being, something that you choose for yourself rather quickly. And then doTERRA entered into my life, and the rest is history. So one of the really cool tools that I used on the beginning of my doTERRA journey was this wheel. It's called the Emotions Wheel, and it is coupled with this book, the Emotions and Essential Oils book. At the same time of doing this work, I was studying the Desire Map by Danielle Laporte, which is one of the things that I'm facilitating at the moment is Desire Map workshops. And I'm interlacing all of this work into a Desire Map workshop, which is super uber cool. And so I would sit down in the mornings and I would decide, excuse me, on how I want to feel. Let me just have a sip of this water. How do I want to feel today? And I would look through this this emotions wheel, and I would pick a feeling that I wanted to step into for the day. And then I would use that oil as my aromatic anchor throughout the day. So, lemon is the oil of focus. So if I was stepping into a day where I needed to be focused, I would have my lemon oil with me. I would maybe just swipe a little bit on my top lip. I may put some onto my wrists. I may use a diffuser bracelet that I can drip the lemon oil onto the lava and breathe it in throughout the day, keep it next to my computer, remind myself of the state of being that I want to be in, and then use the oil to create that aromatic anchor so that as I'm breathing that oil in, I am reminded constantly of the state of being that I wish to step into. Couple that with desire mapping. Desire mapping back then was a yearly process for me. Now it's kind of like a quarterly process sometimes. I decide on how I want to show up in my life, in the 5 areas of my life, and I pick a desired feeling for each one of those areas. And then I couple an essential oil, maybe a blend, with those 5 areas to take me into those states of being in those spaces in my life. And it is one of the most empowering things that I've ever done, because it is a choice that I get to make each and every day, maybe choices, and it has seen me grow into the woman who I know I am, my future self. And so I'm telling you all of this because, yes, you can just pick up an oil and flip through the book and read what it says in the book and then, associate with it and use the oil. And that's a really beautiful thing, and it's playful and it's fun. And you can do that, most certainly do that, have some fun with it. But know that this is so much more. This is a step into your new reality, whatever it is that you want to co-create with the universe. So I use this daily, and I will create a blend. So say, for example, I want to feel like today I have a really full day today, and it starts pretty soon, so I can't be on here much longer. But I want to feel, the words that I chose today is I want to be in community because I'm out in my community today. So I want to have my community feel. I want to be really responsive and present when I'm with them. And then I also want to feel focused when I'm back at home in front of my computer. So those are my 2 desires for today, is my focus and my community feel. And so I look at this wheel and I would go into, say, you can choose any one of these like little subjects, I suppose, and you can pick a word. So today I want to feel, like it says, safe, acceptance, peace, awareness empowered. You pick one of those. I want to feel empowered. Yeah, that's in my community. I want to be really empowered and strong and present. So empowered is ginger. Let's see if there's an oil of presence. Now, if it's too difficult to look in here, there is an appendix at the back. Yeah, so you can look it up right at the back. I don't know if you can see it with the light, but I can look up presence. Focus blend, ginger, of course, lemon, patchouli, Siberian fir, vetiver, and grounding blend. And I can use those oils today, 1, 2, all of them, as my aromatic anchor as I go throughout my day. I may use it in my diffuser, like I said, put it onto my wrists and my pulse points. And I'm going to keep that with me all day, every day. This is the emotions of essential oils. Now, there's another part of this that we'll get into some other time, but your emotions, when, you know how I said at the beginning, you've got your, how do you feel now? There's the expression of the emotion, and then there's the stepping into how you want to feel. If you skip out the middle step, right, or the middle part, that expression of the emotion becomes suppressed into the body. It is held within the body, and there's no escape for it. And this is where we start to experience dis-ease or disease in the body. According to various Eastern mythologies, we hold our emotions in our physical body. And when you experience an ache, a pain, an illness, a something in your physical body, it can relate to an emotion that has not been expressed. Now, here's the caveat on that. I don't want you to run around the place thinking that because you have a sore knee, that you are fearful, because you may be, right? Because that's the emotion that's associated with your knees. You may be fearful, and that may be a question of self-inquiry. That may be an opportunity for you to go within and find out where in the 5 areas of your life. And if you're interested in learning more about those 5 areas, just send me a message and I can let you know. It's part of the desire mapping process. If you are experiencing this, fearfulness in one of those 5 areas, what a beautiful way that your body has given you that sign that you can go within and find out what that is. But I do believe in past lives, and I do believe in coming into this incarnate life as an incarnate soul, having carried with us baggage. And I think that there's a part of this whole story, the spiritual being that you come into this earth as being, that we can't explain, that sometimes it just is what it is. And there's so many other facets of this discussion that I'm not even going to get into here because it could be a bit woo-woo for you guys and I may lose you. But you may have a soul contract to come into this life and experience knee problems for whatever reason, I don't know. But just know that although there is a responsibility on our emotional intelligence and for the expression of our emotions, sometimes dis-ease or disease will find its way into the body and there is no explanation, and you are not responsible for every little thing, okay? It's a very fine line, but it has to be made. That fine line needs to be drawn. And with that, my babes, I think I'm going to sign off. I would love to hear from you your desired feelings for the day. What is it that you're looking to co-create? What oils are you using to co-create with? How do you find this process? Do you have any questions about it? And is it something that you can see? Oh, I've got a hair that's right in my eye. Is it something that you can see yourself doing on the daily? Can you see yourself experimenting with these oils every single day to co-create and be in a state that you most want to be in? It's time to empower yourselves with this knowledge and not just become a victim to your circumstance. Every one of us has shit going on in our lives. Every single one of us will have a story about what we're experiencing. And it's okay for us to feel those emotions. In fact, it's necessary. It's necessary for those emotions to be processed and for you to come out of it feeling lighter. Because if you suppress those emotions and you don't allow them to come out, you will find there are blockages in your energy system in the body, and they ultimately block so many other things. Yeah, we want the energy systems in our body to be free-flowing. And the way that we do that is by and through the expression of our emotions. So thank you so much for watching this recording, and I'm going to thank you in advance for putting your deets down below. All of those, questions I asked you before. Let's start a revolution with emotional intelligence and being the co-creators of our lives. Have a beautiful day.